Item. The first one is Keith Cossert, if you can correct the pronunciation of your name, because I think I messed it up. And the second will be Cameron Harrell.
Yes, my name is Keith Cossart, and I'm here to represent the Elk Grove Airport Association. Unfortunately, we have our association meeting tonight also, so we don't have much backing here. But when we were here before, we were told that you wanted to wait until the courts made their decision before you took any action, and I guess you're well aware that the courts have taken their action and the county is now wide open to close the airport. And I'm here to request that you people write a letter to the county and ask them to back off so that you can have a say whether the airport stays or goes. I don't know if you're aware of how important an airport is in case of an emergency, but all you have to do is watch the news and what's happening in Haiti right now. And I'm sure they would be real happy to have an extra airport or two, because that's the biggest drawback they have right now, is they can't get aid in there because of the airport that they have. I don't know how many of you were in Elk Grove in 1987, but when the levee broke and everything flooded south of Elk Grove, I flew over that area, and that was a real eye-opener to me as to what can happen. 99, all you could see is water and overcrossings. I-5 was the same way. And Elk Grove was completely isolated from any traffic coming from the south. And this could happen any time, and if we had the same problems up north, the only way in and out of this city would be through the airport. So I don't think that you people really realize how important that is, but we do. I think the fire department appreciates it because they use the airport on a regular basis for training, and they bring in their firefighting helicopter and do water drops and stuff at the airport. And we were trying to get the police department interested in it. At one time we wanted to set up an air wing of the police department where we could do some support for them, but we haven't really got that off the ground. But I'd really like to request that you do write a letter. The county has said that they will accept a letter from the city in consideration of letting you make the decision of closing the airport. But once the airport is closed, it'll be gone forever. So I request that you write a letter. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Cameron Harrell.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for letting me address you tonight on the same subject. So a quick background on myself. I work for IBM, live here in the community. I also have an aviation business. My wife also has a dental practice in the area. And I'm also a commercial pilot. I keep aviation assets over here at the airport, and I use them heavily for work and also for our business operations. It is a vital asset. That's one of the reasons why we moved here to Elk Grove, because of the convenience to use it, low cost on keeping our assets. One of the great things, too, is it's a public use airport that doesn't require $1 of government funds to operate. It's self-sustaining, has a full infrastructure, and it's been there before any of the current plans the last 5 to 10 years have been on the board, you know, with the sphere of influence and the other development plans. And I speak really tonight on the short term because I know there's a lot of complicated long-term plans that the city and the county and, you know, other parties are working on. There's development considerations, there's the sphere of influence, but I speak in just general broad terms here. If you look at the city right now and the state of the economy, you know, right up the street here we have about 5,000 homes, a lot of lots that are carved out that are not being even built on, and who knows when they will. We would love for the mall project to get restarted, so, you know, hopefully that can come in. And also the school district, you know, they're in the red right now, and they're probably not going to be building any new schools like was originally planned. So I'd like to ask the city, not to obligate the city, you know, to get them upset with the county or jeopardize any other activities that are going on, but possibly just a letter of neutral support to the county saying, basically, hey, we don't see a need to close it down right now with all the activities that are going on. I mean, it may need to be closed down in the future, and hopefully I wouldn't like to see that happen, but just maybe in the next maybe 36 months to 60 months, who knows when development will be able to start over there in that section of town. And also, we need to catch up on this side of town. So I'd just like to point that out to the City Council, consult with staff. I'd be happy to work with any of the designated city members if y'all would be inclined to consider a draft of a letter to the county, just with y'all's neutral support. Not, yeah, we want that airport to stay open, but maybe we don't see a need to close it at this time based on what's going on economically in the area. So thank you, Council, for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Councilmember Detrick? Vice Mayor Detrick, excuse me.
The two gentlemen from the airport, we can't address anything until we go into council comments and future considerations, which is item 7, and I'll have some comments at that point.
As will I. And with respect to the airport, you know, I don't know that we have addressed it yet since the court came down with their decision, but I have long maintained that as long as that was in limbo, that there was no reason for us to interject. Now, if the county is looking to pursue to close it, I think we should probably send a letter to say, hey, stay any action for the time being, because although I don't see the airport being viable in its current configuration long into the future, I think that it can certainly be incorporated in some configuration as a part of our planning for that SOI process, should that move forward. I have had a meeting with some of the local property owners around there to discuss that and maybe realigning it to parallel the floodplain. But I think that there are things that we can do in the interim. I know that making it into a unidirectional airport where all takeoffs and landings occur out over the floodplain and not out over Grant Line reduces that danger cone or whatever it's called. But I think that the point that development is not rushing back anytime soon certainly takes the pressure off maybe some of the motivation behind trying to get it closed down. So I think that there is a way that we can work together with the county, with the airport, and with a planning process that incorporates what I do believe is an amenity for the area into the long-term future of Elk Grove. So whatever we need to do to establish that in an interagency level, I would certainly be in support of.
You would like to have that brought back or have further discussion or have concurrence of the council to move forward on a letter?
I guess we would probably have to have it brought back before we made any full decision on it.
How does the council feel?
I'd second that.
Okay. No. Okay. And Mr. Cooper's not here, so I don't have a problem having, bringing it back for discussion. So if that gets us 3-1 and bring it back for discussion, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Also, just to remind you that we also have a city-county meeting on February 19th.
Correct.
So we can talk to Supervisor Natoli about that as well.
That's our debate. Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Laura.
And as far as the only other issue I wanted to address was the airport. I saw Rita Velasquez, the CEO of Chamber of Commerce. Those are the kind of people that I'd like to hear their input from, what an airport possibly could do for the city of Elk Grove. Public safety, I know there's issues with CHP. I don't know how our police chief feels about the services that could possibly be utilized for the Elk Grove Police Department, Sheriff, CSD, and all those kind of public safety agencies. I'd like to hear from the property owners and from the Airport Association as well. And, and whatever ideas that our executive team has relative to that as well. So I look forward to coming back, if nothing else, just for the education side of it. That's all I have.